Hello everyone, there's an iPhone out there that's probably going to get removed sooner than later, and it's going to be a very sad day when this particular iPhone actually ends up being discontinued. Personally for me, this was one of the best iPhones Apple has ever made, and every time I take a look at this particular device, I get so happy because it genuinely is one of the best iPhones I still think to this day Apple's probably ever even conceived of. And this particular device is basically the iPhone 13s. These particular devices, in my opinion, were so solid in so many different ways, and I'm still actually so happy when Apple, still even is selling this iPhone because it really is that great of an iPhone in almost every single way you can kind of think about it. So in a way, what I would recommend doing is that if you are in the market and if you do want to pick up a device, you can't really go wrong with an iPhone 13, and you might actually want to buy this iPhone before it's a little bit too late. When you're buying something like an iPhone 13, you are still getting an iPhone that is very much ahead of its time in so many different, ways you can kind of think of. So with this particular device, what I can tell you is the iPhone, so what I can definitely tell you in, my particular opinion with this particular iPhone, this is a device which essentially is giving you that very good display. It's a very solid display in a lot of different ways. It really isn't like super overly like over the top, in a lot of ways, I'll be honest, but it's a very good iPhone, and I'm still a very, big fan of the way this particular display holds up. The notch also isn't that big of a deal. I know a lot of people who look at the notch and they're kind of turned off by it, but I'm not really even that big of a, I've owned iPhones with dynamic islands and all these other things, and I don't really think it's that big of a deal if an iPhone doesn't have a notch or if it does have a notch or whatever the case is. As long as it has an OLED display, that's all that really matters. Getting a lightning port, which also is pretty good for the most part. Flat size, like the feeling of this phone, like it still feels like a very expensive phone, which is something I love a lot about these iPhones. Normally when you buy an iPhone, you would want it to be as good of a feeling phone as possible, and this thing still is very comparable to the, iPhone 15s. But one of my most favorite things of this iPhone is the performance. It is still an excellent performing iPhone in a lot of different ways, and that is something that when I'm, buying and purchasing a device, that's something I look forward to. I look at a device like this and I get very happy because an iPhone, 13 is still holding up very well in a lot of different ways from that perspective, which again is very exciting for me. So I look at a device like the iPhone 13 and I would probably tell you, if you're in the market and if you wanted to buy an iPhone that still had somewhat of a life ahead of it, this is one of those iPhones that you probably can't go wrong with. It's a very good device. I think it has, a huge future ahead of it. It's not even funny. And you're getting very good performance, very good camera, very good build quality. Just everything is very good on this phone. And there's just not a lot to hate on here. Like if I'm going to go and buy an iPhone and recommend it to people, you can't really go wrong with this type of device if I'm being honest. So from that perspective, that kind of covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.